Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we will go straight over to those charts. So we are currently having a bit of a Bitcoin debacle. As you can see, we have, well, on the very short time frame, we took out these recent lows, so that has resulted in a move further down. Currently in the process of happening. Our first level, our first important level is this 18,500 that we've been talking about, the 18,500 support level. If we take that out, if we do take this level out, then realistically we are looking at mid 17,000s, potentially a bounce around the 18,250, 18,200. But I think we would make our way down to 17,500 if we did that. Does that have to happen? Not necessarily. Could we get back? Could we bounce off 18.5? Well, could we bounce from here and not look back and just be and just put in this tightening pennant formation a higher low? Yeah, we could certainly do that. But if we come down and we bounce off 18,500 and bounce off here, we're obviously just gonna start to look like a descending triangle, aren't we? And we know how those patterns predominantly play out. We'll have a descending triangle at the top part of a wider range underneath major macro resistance. So that would indicate to me that we are then going to not break the range basically at this asking, and probably come down to test the bottom of the range. The bottom of the range being around 16,500. So obviously you guys know how I analyze markets. We play level by level. We can basically bounce from here, and then it's a case of, does the descending triangle play out? We could bounce from here, just be a higher low, make our way back up, and then if we got basically back above this level, if we came down to 17,500, then went back over 18,500, we would start to look good for a push basically through this level. If we then don't do that and we come down to here, I mean, this is just my thought process. This is the level by level. I can't say right now this has happened, so we are going to break this, and then come down to here and hold here and then bounce back up. I can't project that far ahead with how I analyze markets. It is just, like I said, it is just level by level. See how do we interact in real time with each level. Do we bounce or do we break it? And then if we break it, do we back test it and get rejected at that rejection point? That is the high probability trade to, well, either the downside or upside, depending on what it is. That paycheck trade, the forecheck, the back check, the paycheck. That is the paycheck trade for me anyway, is the rejection of the retest of the breakdown or the breakout point. So yeah, that is what we're looking at. If I had to have a bias here, it would be to the downside, just for the reasons that I've just said. But we will look at the stochastics later on, and we will also look at the DXY right now. I mean, DXY, as you can see, it has so far tried to muster a bounce. It's gradually grinding its way forwards, but this does look like a bear flag, and it does look like a rising channel. So it does look like a potentially bearish formation in the context of a bearish trend. Do we come back? Do we get up to here and test this level properly, or do we get all our way up to here, test this, back test this level? Either way, we are looking for a level for this to actually back test. So basically how I would be looking at the dollar would be, do we reach this trend line and reject? Do we reach this horizontal and reject? Or if neither of these happen, do we take out the recent low? So they are the course to action for the DXY, basically trading below this recent low, rejecting from here and starting to come back down, rejecting from here and starting to come back down. They are the 3 points of course of action. So yeah, and any of those rejections and starting to come back down would most likely be bullish for Bitcoin, as we know, obviously the inverse relationship. But that relationship doesn't always have to hold in the short term. The actual forces internally on Bitcoin itself, its own TA, independent of the wider markets, could just see us have a pullback within the range, even though the dollar is weak and potentially getting weaker. We've just got to bear that in mind. So yeah. Right, so that's the dollar looked at. Right, let's have stocks. We'll just have a quick look at stocks. Stocks still looking good here. Still holding above this high. I mean, this is bullish until it isn't, and it looks bullish. I mean, realistically, we just got sideways to down off a 4-hour 9, and then I would expect this to break back up. But if we break back into this range, it isn't the worst thing. But if we do break back into this range, what usually happens when you have a range like this, if you pop back above and fail, then your next port of call is to come and test the bottom of that range. So we could see a pullback in stocks. That could obviously help the dollar index back up, and that could obviously help Bitcoin back down. So yeah, got to bear that in mind. Ethereum, Bitcoin, looking like it wants to have a go at this trend line. This is if we just scroll out quite a bit here, if we go to the daily, this is quite a macro level. So analyzing it on this short time frame is, and its exact level and interactions with this trend line on the short time frame are not necessarily the most important thing to be doing, seen as it is a trend line that we've basically had in since last year. So if we want to look at something this large time frame, I would probably more look to the fact that you've either got a bull flag in the formation we're going to break up, or we have just got a lower high and we're going to come down. So we're going to either come down up or down. But obviously it'll just matter which way we break. So I mean, this horizontal we've got drawn in here, I'll take us back down to the 4-hour now. This horizontal we've got drawn back in here, breaking above that would probably lead to more bullish action, and then realistically breaking below this major level here would probably precipitate in more downwards action. But again, this is also looking a bit like a descending triangle. So there's definite warning flags going on here. USD pairing though, USD pairing still within our nice high range. This is still not looking bad at all. We're just mid range here. Mid range. We could come all the way down to basically 555. And as long as we don't break that level, we just continue on sideways. Yeah, that is all we need to look at here. So yeah, back to Bitcoin, back to the stochastics. Back to the stochastics. Actually, we'll just have a quick look just to remind you guys of the monthly 9 that we are on. TD is powerful. Monthly has not necessarily been the it hasn't basically been the most useful TD time frame to use, but we haven't had necessarily a lot of Bitcoin price history. As we get more price history, don't quote me on this, but I would expect the higher time frame TDs then to become more efficacious as we get more price history. And I know Bitcoin has still been around for like 10 plus years, but these are a monthly chart that we are looking at. I mean, you can see how well we played off the bi-weekly 9s. Weekly also, we do know we had that 9, had weakness off that candle, and then we are kind of basically trying to shake that off. But this chart looks good though. This does not look like a reversal at all. Yet it doesn't look like a reversal yet. I mean, TD wise, for this to look like a reversal to me would basically be taking out 16,000, and at which point we then would be looking at probably back down to 10,000. But that obviously is a long way from happening. But obviously the upside is a lot closer, and that is basically a break of 20k and then continuation to the upside. The 5-day 9 as well looked like that. Well, I mean, this candle was a pretty severe pullback, so it did play a sideways to down, and then it basically closed the candle above the 9. So that is in the context of how I look at the TD, continuation to the upside. However, we are still getting rejected by this macro resistance, and we have the weekly 9 weighing on price action, and we potentially have the monthly 9 weighing in on price action. So I mean, 2 days looking bullish as well. I mean, this looks bullish. So all high time frames, both in all high time frames look bullish, but we have got some TD warning flags. So let's have a look at the stochastics. Yeah, as you can see, 4-hour diving down. So I mean, obviously price action is coming down also. Let's see what price action was doing at this point. Yeah, it was starting to turn down, did break down, tried to get back up and then failed. So yeah, 4-hour price action called that quite nicely. 4-hour price action also called this move up quite nicely, and 4-hour price action called this price move down quite nicely, and 4-hour sorry, I say price action, 4-hour stochastic called this move up quite nicely, and 4-hour stochastic when it started to come down called this move quite nicely. And also this move up quite nicely, and also this move down quite nicely. So you can see why we do look at the stochastics. So yeah, it is coming down. So we are basically waiting for this to come down, reset, put in a base somewhere, turn back up, and then potentially look for upside. So that's a 4-hour. So 10-hour. 10-hour is, yeah, well, 10-hour looking like it wants to keep coming down. Had a bit of a bounce off the bullish half, but yeah, look, I mean, it's looking like we could potentially going to come and take this out. 12-hour still coming down. Daily, I'm guessing, is going to start to come down now as well. 2-day did mount a comeback. So yeah, 2-day not looking the worst, but 3-day looking down. 5-day, well, these ones we can't really. These are good to look at for overall macro trend, but for the moves on the timescales we're looking at, i.e. mainly the 4-hour chart, it's not going to be that helpful for us. But the other time frames are looking, so stochastics are actually starting to look like we like now the probabilities to the downside. I know previously they were looking like they could give us a push to the upside, but they weren't able to give us that push. And now they're starting to turn down and starting to look like we could get a pullback. So on the whole, things are looking well, I would say medium-term bearish for Bitcoin. Clearly not long-term bearish. And well, the short term is a short term, but medium term is more important. Yeah, we are looking medium term bearish. From the reads of everything today, I mean, if I am going to take into account those higher time frame TDs, my guess would be we basically are staying in this range, and we're going to come down to 16.5k. That would be my crystal ball guess. Based on all the information that I have at the moment. So in true Bayesian inference model fashion, the information that I have, that is basically my guess, and as new information comes in, I will update my guess. But yeah, that is what we're looking at, guys. So yeah, that is it, guys. So remember, everybody, be careful if you're in leverage positions. I mean, to be honest, I don't recommend anybody trades leverage full stop. I have not been trading Bitcoin on leverage for a long time now. So I'll just put that out there. It is obviously, if you guys want to do that, you're welcome to do that, but I don't personally at the moment. There are times when I will, and there are times when I'll take trades. But at the moment, I am just, as you guys know with my channel, I've just been looking to DeFi and altcoins and Uniswap coins. It's just more lucrative now that I've properly deep dived into it. But yeah, basically for you guys that are trading on leverage, be careful now. We have tightened up in a formation here for a long time, and even if we draw the pennant here, it looks like we are at this moment breaking this formation to the downside. If we get an increase in volatility and in this direction, then we are easily looking at 17.5k, and that will probably give us the momentum to get to the bottom of the range, and then we just have to hold our breath, because if we take out this level, then the actual macro starts to look potentially bearish, with targets of 14, 12, and probably nearer around, yeah, the 11-12 k level. So be careful, basically, guys. So yeah, remember, this is not financial advice. We're not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys later on today with some more videos on some altcoins. And yeah, thanks for listening.